Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this week I'm going to update you on my Revell 67 Chevelle SS396 here. This 2-in-1 kit California wheels. And it's one that's been sitting, as I mentioned it before. It's something I started in 2012, and I basically pulled the parts off of the trees, glued the engine block together, and I painted the engine block orange and just was kind of deciding on what color to do and some of that stuff. And it just sort of ended up sitting for a while, being 10, 11 years apparently. So I was trying to decide what to do and what color. And, it was, it's in my stash of, projects. So I primed it and I was getting ready and choosing colors. Well, I decided I would go with this color. Madeira Maroon. It's a factory 67 color, but even in this, it's just kind of maroon. I could see there's metallic flakes in there, but I really didn't know how it was going to look and everything, and it looked kind of dull. But this is a base coat, so when you spray a base coat, it doesn't always shine until you get the clear on it. And that's kind of the case with this one, where here's the paint itself, and you can see the glitter and sparkle in it now that it's cleared and everything. See if I can get a really good look at it. But yeah, you can see the sparkle in it, and it looks really good. And I cleaned all the fingerprints off of this, so it'll film really well, so you can see it. And I got the bare metal foil on there, and just started blacking everything out. Got the entire engine compartment blacked out there, and some of the detail painting done. We'll do the red battery cable and the posts there also. You can faintly see the Delco batteries in there, but and there isn't a decal for that. But just been getting it ready and blacking out the whole inside of it, and get the glass in there and the rearview mirror in there. And this thing is pretty much ready to start assembling it. So that's why I'm showing to you now before I get it completely assembled. But I'm really liking that paint. And then here I got it on the macro setting, so it'll really get in there and show you the sparkle in the paint there. So there you go. So I'm hoping the color comes out and everything. Well, I learned the settings and the macro settings on this, and which you got to set it to macro first and then start recording. Otherwise it'll flip back and forth. But once you start recording, it's kind of locked into whichever setting it is. I'm like, all right, me still learning the settings and everything, but I'm just really liking the way this is coming out. So you can really see the decal there, the decal back there. So she's coming out pretty cool. And then same with the, since I can really get in there, there's the engine. Really didn't do any super detailing to it, just painting everything, putting it together. And I'm following the directions real carefully on this one, just putting it together the way it says to. And I want you to put the exhaust, the rear axle, and all the suspension in after you assemble the chassis to the body. So that's what I'm kind of doing here. And there's the canister oil filter that was last year was 67. 68 is when they went to the spin-on oil filters from the factory. But many people have put adapters on it and use the spin-on oil filters for older than 67, but that's factory. And then the interior came out really nice. Well, now that I got it on macro, I can really get it in there and you can see it. So I did some Motolo pen for the chrome and everything, and black touch-ups, and there's some decals here and there so you can see the gauges. The only part is getting it close is it's hard to get the lighting in there because then I have to get it too close to the camera. But there's a decal for the shifter and some of the gauges decals, and there we go. So you can kind of see my fine detail painting, and the good and the bad. But once it's in there, you can't really see it. And this interior tub seems to fit really tight. So I don't know if it's my particular kit where this is a little wider than it should be when I'm trying to put these two together. But yeah, I noticed that getting it in there, that I really gotta, so you can kind of see it's twisted, but I really gotta push that to get the door panels to pop. So it's whether or not I gotta hold it real tight and glue the front and the back in there to get it to hold together. But she doesn't want to do it by herself, so I really got to force it in there. So I got to figure that part out and get that glued in there. But that's the next step. So I can glue this in place, glue the chassis in, and I blacked out the underside. with the airbrush so that once you put the chassis in, it all blends in and shows. You know, even though this should actually be, you know, gray primer and then overspray as far as how it goes, but I just blacked it all out instead of picking it all out and detail painting it. And you could if you wanted to. I mean, it's a pretty nice chassis and everything once it's all together. And we'll see how she looks. And I really should get some flat black where that block-off plate is for the clutch. So, because right now I got it orange, and it really shouldn't be orange, so I should really detail paint that black as well. But you got the fuel pump on there and then everything else on there, so I'm liking the way that's coming out. So I've got a bit more work to do to it, but detail painting, so it's pretty much the chrome tree that's left. Got to black that out, put the backup lights in, get all that in there. Paint the air cleaner. I'll paint the air filter part of it, the air cleaner. Detail paint the wheels, detail paint the grill, the turn signal amber for the turn signals. And then some of the black on the hood pieces and the rocker pieces that go on the body. And then trim some of the flash out of the wheels here so that the blackout will show through it. So just some general cleanup and some light work to do. But I kind of wanted to show it to you before I got it the rest of the way together so I can show you some of that stuff. And then the rest of it's pretty simply detailed. You know, I put the rear axle together, just a few parts, nothing fancy on this one. Got to detail the taillight lenses. And then, you know, I did get the front suspension painted, and I painted all the steering pieces steel gray. Most of the time they're blacked out from the factory, but I kind of like the extra detail there. And then, of course, the exhaust pipes are painted. But that's what's in here, and just a lot of the black stuff, the radiator, which it says to put this on after you put the engine and chassis in. And then one of the last parts here, if I can get my hands on it, there's the steering gear, which is kind of a nice touch. You know, I don't get too many of them, but this is a manual steering gear. So it's pretty cool to see that's detailed enough to do that. And I got the shocks in there and the wheel backs. And I painted both sides of the wheel box so that if the open holes show through, it'll be blacked out and you don't see the white plastic that way. So it did come with the turn signals and some of the engine decals. I got to put those on as well, and whichever plates I put on it, RPO 396. I don't know if I'm going to use that. I might actually do that just to see how it turns out. So see how it is. And then there's that one for the nose piece. And I got an extra one in here as well. So this one's getting finished up, and we'll get it buttoned up here. But pretty nice kit. It's kind of weird to think that I built the Pro Street version way back in the late 80s, early 90s. But I haven't built the stock one. And I just remember all the stuff that was included in the custom one and all the neat stuff. Like specifically remember the Moroso valve covers. I don't know why, but I remember those. Thought they were really cool. But I just got some things left to do on this one. And this one will probably be buttoned up here pretty quickly as well. At the mirror mount, I get some of the stuff done. And I still have to foil the wheel opening moldings. But this is the part I'm dreading next, is gluing this in and hoping it stays in place. But we'll see. It fits in there right now. So if I get enough, you know, a good glue on here and good glue back here, it should hold in. It's just whether or not you want to hold it too tightly. But I really do like this maroon color. Definitely different, pretty classy on a Chevelle. There's lots of bright popping colors, but every now and then I get in the mood for something a little different. And this is definitely something a little different for me. So, liking the way it's coming out here. So, let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think of the color? Definitely different, definitely interesting, but yeah, it's quite an interesting color. Once you get clear on it, because you can't really see all that metallic in the paint, but once it's cleared, it really stands out, and then the foil makes it pop too. But there's that, and the hood's over here somewhere. I don't know where the hood went. Oh, it's under my white paper. Oops. Oh well. It is what it is. I'll dig the hood out, but you saw the hood earlier video. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really do appreciate you guys. and you have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.